Well, greetings, saints. Today we're looking at Psalm 61. Before we get into the psalm, I want to mention that today is going to be the last episode of Streams in the Desert, at least for a while. We began the series back in mid-March as we were entering quarantine, and now as we're coming out of quarantine, we felt it best to suspend things for a while. I hope it's been an encouragement to you, and sure has been to me. I've heard from a number of you along the way that some of the things shared have really been encouraging, so that's good. Maybe we'll do something like this in the future, but for now we'll wrap it up today with Psalm 61. Here's how it's inscribed: to the chief musician on a stringed instrument, a psalm of David. We don't know the circumstances of the writing of this psalm. It's meant to be accompanied on a stringed instrument. Exactly what David's going through, we're not quite sure, but he begins like this: "Hear my cry, O God. Attend to my prayer. From the end of the earth I will cry to you when my heart is overwhelmed. Lead me to the rock that is higher than I." It seems like as we read through the book of Psalms, David is in trouble a lot. And one of the things we learn from these Psalms is how to respond when things are really troubling us, how to respond when we're going through difficulties. In essence, David says here, doesn't matter what I go through, doesn't matter how far I get chased around, I'm going to call on the Lord from the end of the earth, even if I get pushed to the end of the earth. Now, the history of David's life tells us he really didn't travel that far from his hometown in his lifetime, but he's basically saying here, it doesn't matter. Whatever happens to me, I'm calling on the Lord. What a great testimony. From the end of the earth, I'll cry to you when my heart is overwhelmed. And I want you to notice the contrast here between an overwhelmed heart and God, who is a rock. When my heart is overwhelmed, the word means to be covered, to faint from extreme emotion, to be feeble. And he says, lead me to the rock that is higher than I. What a great contrast. David understands God is not like us. We faint, we grow weak, but he is strong. He is ever faithful. And then in verse 3, he does something that really is a great model for all of us, and that is he remembers the goodness of God in the past. For you have been a shelter for me, a strong tower from the enemy. You know, I think one of the things that happens when we're struggling is we kind of get tunnel vision. We, the trouble we're facing eclipses our view of the testimony of God that we've seen in our lives. And so David, in a sense, he battles through that, and he says, you have been a shelter, you've been a strong tower from the enemy. And so he approaches God with the confidence that the God who has been a shelter and has been a strong tower will continue to be that. God bless you as you read Psalm 61. Saints, we've enjoyed this series, and hopefully we'll do something like this again in the future. Blessings on you.